Purpose Talks. I am Lourdes Anita, writer over at lourdesanita.com. And here at the Purpose Talks, we talk about following our God-given purposes and eliminating any distractions that try to get in the way. And we're on episode 2, and I have a very, very special guest. I'm so excited because she's a boss in the kingdom, and she's here to tell us a little bit more about what she does, and we're definitely going to get some tips on how to focus on our purposes because she's focusing on hers. So I have with me today Janelle Bechdol. I can't even list off all the things that she does. She is an activist. She is a social entrepreneur. She has her own business. She works for the church. It's a lot. Girl, just tell us. Go ahead. Tell the people.
So I'm Janelle, and I would say my jam overall is actually helping adolescents. So ages 15 to 25, that really weird 10-year period of time when we are expected to go through all of these life transitions, and helping them figure out who they are. And so there's a variety of ways that I do that. Help to teach college advisory, so helping 12th graders apply to college and figure out where they want to go and work on their personal statements. I also help to dismantle the barriers that might prevent that work from happening. So in HR, specifically at companies that hire young people fresh out of school. So I have 2 clients right now. One is in tech and one is in entertainment. And then obviously at Bridge Church, which is where we met. So wherever I can do that work, stages, classrooms, offices, happy to.
So now you've named a lot of projects and iterations for how you act out your purpose, but what would you say your purpose is? What do you feel like God has created you to do and be?
Encourage. That is my spiritual gift. The spiritual gift of encouragement, and specifically for people who are other. Yeah.
How do you define other? Say more about that.
Well, I'm biracial. My dad is white and my mom is black, and I'm the only biracial member of my family. So I have 4 white siblings and 4 black siblings, and my parents have no other interracial children. So I am quite literally the tan dot in the middle, and I was other. When I was coming up, especially on the census and all those boxes, there was no place for you had to pick which one, or you just were other. And that has really given me a heart for helping people who don't fit neatly into a box try to figure out what their voice is and what their purpose is. So other, and not just racially, it is now expanded into people who, are intersectional in lots of ways.
So how do you feel your identity undergirds your purpose?
It is present in everything I do. So I'm not big on tattoos per se, but when I was figuring all of this out around the age of 21, I got a tattoo and it says purpose. Literally. It reminds me of my purpose every single day. And I think that I want to make sure that wherever I'm showing up, that people feel the freedom to show up. And recognizing their whole personhood. So in a professional sense, that's in HR, that's themes of belonging. That's a real big hot word right now. In post-secondary, that is not just college access, but persistence as well. So I would say those kinds of things, feeling like your whole person belongs on this journey of where you are.
So take me through, because I'm also grappling with identity and purpose in 2019. So walk us through the process that you had to go to be comfortable with your identity and be comfortable with your purpose, and even discovering all of that so that you can encourage others to be fully who they are.
Well,
we about to go deep.
Yeah, I think growing up, it was very binary for me. So I was either with the white family in the white world or the black family in the black world.
Right.
Very culturally stark differences. And so the first time that I was forced to confront who I am, I was 17 years old writing my personal statement for college. And that is the first time in any kind of formal education sense.
Yeah.
I had written, creative essays before, but somebody was like, hey, your future depends on you being able to tell us who you are. Who are you? And I had a meltdown.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to answer that question. And that process continued my first year of college and into, my second and third year of college. In my second year of college, I actually came across my campus's gospel choir. And before they had rehearsal, they did praise and worship. And when I stepped into the worship before rehearsal, I felt the Holy Spirit for the first time, like strong, 19. And it began to like work at kind of pulling some of the layers of myself open. From that point at 19, it had been about a 10-year journey of, first I had accepted Christ and I was walking with him, but I wasn't fully submitted and surrendered until I got so tired of doing everything my way. I had launched a social enterprise. I had worked at one of the big 4 accounting firms. I had done all of these things. I did American Idol. I did it all. And by the time I hit 29, it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And so that's when I joined Bridge Church and I really pressed in. I had to see what Jesus said about me before anybody else. Because I was tired of trying to figure it out and piece together little semblances of what the world had to say about someone like me.
Yeah.
And really had to get, what does my name mean? And my middle name means rebirth, by the way.
Come on. Speaking in existence.
Yeah. So I think that that journey was really important between like 19 and 29, like adulting, I'm grown, I got things going, I got purpose, I want to help you, I want to help you. And meanwhile, my house is a mess.
Yeah.
My house is a mess.
Yeah. So like, as you've discovered that you're supposed to be an encourager and you've walked into your identity, like how do you stay focused on that and like push aside the labels that other people try to push on you and live fully in that purpose of being an encourager?
It can be distracting. Yeah. The world can be distracting.
The world we live in 2019 is distracting.
Yeah. I think that this is not going to be a very sexy answer for people, but if I miss devotional time, I feel off.
Yeah.
I need to always come back to center. That is a daily practice. I think I'm also distracted when maybe God has told me to do something and I'm like, not yet.
No.
Not yet. That's the big one. Nope.
I don't want to.
Woo! And he's like, okay, fine. You can dilly-dally in the kiddie pool all you want, splash around and like make a mess, but you're just going to be wasting your time because that time doesn't apply to me.
Right, exactly.
Right. So I think that as soon as it's a blessing to be able to hear from God, but as soon as I hear from him, I'm like, Pastor James once said, the gap between the time it tells, or between the time it takes for God to tell you something and for you to do it is called maturity. So I think the distraction piece kind of floats away when I'm like, okay, God, I can make a quick pivot. I can do exactly what I'm going to try to do exactly what you just said. Might fail forward, but I'm going to get started at least and not delay. And then I feel like I'm in like a focused tunnel. Like things are coming at me and I'm like, whew. What? No. Yeah. Focused. So I think it's really honestly just always coming back to God, what's the last thing you told me to do again?
Right.
What was that thing? I gotta refresh my mind. What's the last thing you told me to do? Right. Go.
Yeah, so I'm hearing you say like spending time with the Lord.
Yes.
Just laser focusing on what he has told you to do and that spending time, like that is how you discovered your purpose and like how you push aside those distractions. Like I wanna pivot a little bit.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. we share a testimony right now
we
of
do.
like pushing aside distractions. And I really wanted to talk to you specifically because we're both on this debt freedom journey. We're paying off our debt. And I know for me, my debt has been a major distraction in my life. So like keeping me from purpose. Like I want to ask you, how did you come to this debt payoff? And like, how did you see that debt was keeping you from fulfilling your purpose?
Debt will keep you up at night even when you think you've gotten a good night's sleep.
Child.
It will keep you awake. It will rob you of peace. Yeah. And I think that we've been sold a lie that just because we have 6 figures of education debt, or just because we have a mortgage, we make $98,000 a year, but we bought a $500,000 home, that's okay. It's not okay.
Yeah.
You're broke. You owe something to someone.
Right.
And my heart really had to change around that, because our generation is just like, yeah, girl, like we're just gonna be paying debt for forever. And then you put your wedding on a credit card. You add cars and all the things to it, and then the next thing you know, you're in a bad place.
Right.
For me in particular, I had to. It took me losing a lot. I've lost jobs. I've wasted money. I have splurged on things. I made a terrible decision and dipped into my 401k, like you name it, I have done it. And it took me getting to a place where I'm like, I don't even know what the purpose of money is.
Yeah.
What does God have to say about money again? Because I know I've tried every single thing that the world has said about money. Purpose of that credit card is to go ahead and go on LegalZoom and finance your business, girl. No, it's not.
Right.
If your business doesn't make the money to do that, then you shouldn't be putting it on credit. Just don't do that. Right.
Message.
So it was like I was just getting hit from every angle. Like, wow, I owe several people lots of money.
Yeah.
And this isn't just Sally Mae and it's a person. But I think the thing that really got me going was the fact that I couldn't help anybody. If my mom if my mother called me with an emergency and I couldn't put it on credit, I don't have the capital to be able to pay anybody's hospital bill, to bail anybody out of jail, to pay for a funeral. I don't have it. Yeah. And that scared me more than anything as an encourager and a helper. And so I was like, oh, okay, wow. A lot of us with this gifting think that we just want to outwardly help people, but that gifting of helping and encouraging has to also apply to your still. Yeah. So the debt had robbed me of all of my peace. Yeah. I was waking up in the morning like, whew. And side note, none of this takes care of itself. Yeah. We have like a false narrative in our generation that, oh girl, it's okay. You went to medical school and you have $250,000 in loans, or, ooh girl, you can't be nice to anybody, but that's okay because when your husband comes, blah, 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 blah.
Ooh, no. Man is not a financial plan, ladies. Stop it.
These things don't just happen, especially if you are following Jesus. You really think he's going to give you something that you are not going to be able to steward? Yeah, right. Yeah. And so I was like, ooh, I'm not going to just be able to be a homeowner because I owe other people money. Yeah. Wow. I had to change some things. Yeah. So it was like that revelation of like, Janelle, these things aren't just going to happen to you. You don't just one day get to be married. Yeah. You don't just one day get to be debt free. What do you think it took for those people to get there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do the work.
Yeah. So like, it sounded like debt was in direct opposition to who you believe that God even created you to. It was like the very opposite of the thing that you are created to do. Like you couldn't flow in your gift of encouragement because like I'm stressed out about how I'm gonna pay these bills and like I can't encourage you. I got my own stuff.
Yes.
Like debt let's say this clearly. Debt is a distraction. It limits your purpose. It stands in the way. So now take us through, like you made that shift. It sounds like God shifted your perspective and shifted your heart, even at like how you look at money, how you look at debt. So now take us through the practical steps that you're walking through to combat that and to get out of debt.
I got into a small group at our church. It's called City Group. And I just want people to be mindful. This is a process. A lot of times we hear stories of revelation and then things were never the same. Sure, God can do that in like an overnight perspective, but I cut up my credit cards in front of my City Group at the end of 2016.
Step one.
It's 2019. Yeah. So I did that, but I also did it in front of community. Yeah. And they literally just like, woo, yes, confetti. Okay.
So that was for like an accountability.
Yes.
Okay.
I just was like, I'm tired of this. You guys are supposed to help me? That's what this is for? Help me. Help me. I still had them open because we have that myth about when you close credit cards, oh, your credit score, yada, 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 yada. Fine. So I had them open, and then I still had auto payments that were on them. So it wasn't all the way.
Yeah.
So I was probably about like 50-50. I'm like, I cut them up. That's cool. Step 2, tithing.
Oh,
Jesus.
Talk about it.
Yeah, a lot of people feel funny about giving the church money, but for me in particular, when I say for me, it wasn't about the church. God was like, this is about you, Janelle. When you get something, you just hold on to it. Yeah. And then you love it so hard that you choke it and you like, it dies. So your money is literally, my money with you is doing nothing because all you're doing is this. And you don't know how to let it open up your hands and let things flow freely through you, believing in me and not the gift that I gave you.
Gift giver.
The gift giver.
Not the gift.
Not the gift. Yeah. And so I will never forget, I was flat broke. My church had an opportunity on Good Friday of 2018. So this is April of 2018 to babysit for $50. And I was like, I'm broke. I need to do that. And I did it. And I was like, let me try tithing a full 10% on this.
So the $5.
$5.
Right.
Go ahead. And then right after that, somebody hit me up for like $100 hour-long gig. And I was like, cool, $10. Right after that, it was $200 gig. Cool, $20. And it was like these little baby building steps that one by one, I was just taking 10% off top pre-tax, like, have it. If this is what's gonna keep happening, you're gonna keep giving me opportunities. You're not just giving me money, you're giving me opportunity to do work.
Yeah.
I will do it. Oh my gosh, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. So it was the tithing and really kind of changing my heart around money as not being something to hoard and hold on to. And that 10% off top first. And I just want to say this. I thought I was tithing before, but
how did that look?
Sporadic, like, oh, I have it, or oh, I've done everything else first, and then I'm gonna take a little some out of my bank account and give it to the church, because that's nice to do. But that's an offering, because the word tithe means 10. That was for free.
For free. But so, thank you. Like, I'm just hearing like certain themes around like how you arrived at your purpose and how you stay focused. And really for me, it really sounds like God has shifted your perspective around your identity. He shifted your perspective around the purpose of money. He shifted basically your perspective on him. Yes. And I just like, for me, I'm hearing like the word tells us to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Like you are transformed in the person because your mind has been renewed. You're transformed in your money and getting out of debt because your mind has been renewed about that. Like, how do you continue to renew your mind daily with your identity, with debt, with your purpose, with all the things that you're doing, like what do you do to constantly renew your mind?
There are still rooms and areas of my heart, and so I might be really mature in one area and then super immature in another area.
Aren't we all?
You're like, yes, debt, you can do it. By the way, I think we both have paid off 60 grand so far. So I have 20 grand left.
Talk about it.
Really excited. I think the renewing of my mind happens when I say, that is an area. That is an area that I am not ready to touch yet. And then God is like, well, the door is open, just a little bit of, just a little crack. Let's let the light hit it. And can we just push it open a little more? Yeah. And then usually what will happen is some beautiful person in our church community or through being at church, like it's like the sermon, I'm like, have you been reading my journal?
Right. Pastor James will read you from top to bottom. Like, bruh, why do you know my life? Stop. I don't want this.
So what will usually happen is in that one little area, then it will be like, Holy Spirit will be like, I'm in here. Good. We are here.
Right. So, right.
It's a stick up.
Just
and
like
you're
that.
Like,
oh, okay.
Oh God. Oh no.
Surrender's happening.
Right. So that's usually it. It's assessing the areas where I'm like, ooh, I know I've trusted you for that, but I know that I've trusted you for debt. And I just want to plug for this woman because it was this time last year I took a financial management class at the church and heard her testimony about having paid off debt. She went to get her master's in education, which is what I did. And I had heard people of doing these 5 figures of debt in a year. But an advisor of mine said that things go from being impossible to improbable to inevitable. And I thought that my debt was impossible. And after I heard Lourdes and started to tithe and get more opportunities, it became improbable. But today, with 20K left, it's inevitable. Like, it's happening before 2020 comes.
We're paying it off.
Debt-free in 2020.
Hashtag debt-free in 2020.
So I know that God, if that's the debt journey that we've been on, that the spouse and mate journey and life partner husband journey also can come on and get a little boost, but it requires the renewing of my mind requires letting that door crack open a little bit for it to be pried open.
Yeah. In all of those areas, you have just been on this journey, and thank you for that shout out. But like, you also have been an encouragement to me because I've seen you grow and just shift and like own your identity and walk fully in the purposes that God has given you, and that has been just amazing to see. And now we're here and we're having this conversation. So like, what would you say to the you of 10 years ago?
Oh my gosh.
The girl struggling possibly with her identity, struggling with her debt, struggling to figure out what her purpose is. Like, what would you say to old you?
Dang. At that time, I had just finished American Idol.
She can sing. She can really sing, y'all. Like, really.
Yeah. And that's not even a plug. That was, something that the culture defines as being a big deal. It's really hard for you to not think of yourself very highly. So the biggest thing that I would say to that young woman would be to ask God where He wants me to grow. Place me with people. Place me in a church. I needed a church home. I've always had community. I needed a church home.
Yeah.
I'm a community-driven person. I have friends and family in all different kinds of sectors. But people who hear from God, people who hear from God about me, people who can serve as mirrors and side view, rear view for my blind spots, people who can sharpen me. Not everybody can do that. And I wish, I know God is right on time, but I also wish I could have had it earlier.
Yeah.
So find a healthy church community. I know that can be hard. Yeah. A lot of us have church hurt, but that is not an excuse to not try to find a place that is for you, with people who are for you. Yeah. Find your tribe, church.
Amen. So find your tribe. And here we are. Janelle, thank you so much. Just for you and for being here. And just leave us with a final word.
Final word. Purpose. Ask about it. Yeah. When you ask, you will definitely receive. So, Godspeed on that journey.
Amen. Where can they find you?
You can find me at my full name, JanelleBechdol.com. I'm also on the interwebs. I don't think there's another Janelle Bechdol in the world. So thanks to my dad for that last name. So yeah, at Janelle Bechdol everywhere.
Yes. Thank you all for tuning in one more time to the Purpose Talks with Lourdes Anita. And guys, all 2019, we are really just trying to figure out our purpose, staying focused on it, and eliminating distractions. And I pray that as you are on your journey, that you are focused on these things too. Bye, guys.